Hello people of the internet, welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the Small Train Chronicles! Why are you looking at me like that? Do you not know what the Small Train Chronicles is? I mean, come on, did you not see the first episode? I only put it up back in March, and now we're at episode 2 in July, which is a gap of 4 months. Yeah, I've not been the most prompt when it comes to this series. Apologies for that. But for now, welcome back to the Small Train Chronicles. This, if you're new around here, which is quite a lot of you admittedly, is my series chronicling my journey into playing with small trains. I mean, railway modelling. Very serious endeavour. It's not playing with toy trains at all. Now, in the first episode that I put up back in March, I went through my fleet of engaged locomotives, my model locomotive collection. Here's 3 of them right there in the backdrop. Those are actually my pair of Dapol Class 50s and a Dapol Class 68. Some of my favourite locos around they are. That was episode 1, and since then, let me put it like this. For some people, and quite a few people, and maybe a lot of you watching this video, the lockdown was a great opportunity and has been a great opportunity to get on with a lot of personal projects, a lot of stuff, a lot of hobby things that maybe you felt like you never had the energy or the time to be able to do normally, under normal circumstance. And while that is still true for me and for a lot of you, it's a very scary thing that we can just sort of survive through. And that's just the most important thing. And that's completely valid as well. We don't all have to have come out of lockdown with 3 new side businesses and 5 new languages that we can speak fluently at the drop of a hat. I'd kind of say that it's been a mix of both for me, because there have been some things that I've been able to do more of in lockdown and really take advantage of the time to do, like my Twitch channel, stuff on this YouTube channel, of course. For the most part, though, the model railway hasn't been one of them, and that is a little bit unfortunate. It's just there's been a lot of else going on, a lot of stuff going on in here, a lot of stuff going on in life in general, and unfortunately, partially due to another dilemma and a big hang-up I've had about it that I'll explain to you in a little bit, the model railway kind of has been on the shelf for a little bit. Fortunately, just planning to do this video for you guys has really kind of restarted my enthusiasm. It's almost like taking a big defibrillator to my... Here's my enthusiasm for making my model railway, and it's kind of flatlining. Bzz, that's me making this video right now. I'm already excited, I'm already hyped up to start you know, coming up with ideas for track plans and things like that. But to start off with, what we're going to do is recap the progress that I have made so far, which was concentrating mostly in the first week of April, where you may remember in the first episode, I mentioned about having got a baseboard kit from the website scalemodelScenery.co.uk. I will link them down in the description below because their products are excellent. Since then, I also got an extension baseboard kit, and basically what I had was a kit for a lengthways baseboard plus an extension bit to go in the middle that would make it even longer. What you're about to see is my footage from back in early April when I got these kits of me putting all of that together. Here's how that went. So here's a view you don't often see in my videos. Welcome to my desk. This is where work and important stuff often happens, which is why I have a railway departure board there and a wipeout ship over here. Today, I am getting on with building the baseboards, because this on top is the first of the scale model scenery kits that I got. This is the main diorama baseboard for micro layouts and such, and then underneath is what arrived today, which is the extra extension board kit. With these two together, we should have a layout of length of about 5.5 foot. Well, first things first, and it kind of feels like I'm unwrapping a grown-up Lego kit, but let's open this all up and see what we got. Oh, that's fast. Oh, that's satisfying. Oh, yeah. This is the first kit opened, and we've got bits and that. I mean, look, this is literally like grown-up Lego. Let's just put that to one side and open the other one. Okay. So we've got a bag of screws and nuts and stuff in here. You could say this is a bag of D's nuts, if you were still in 2017. So I think what we're going to do is assemble the regular baseboard, the full baseboard kit, this one, first. Okay, so this all looks pretty good to me. This is half of the main regular baseboard kit, and I believe how this works, which would make sense if you then include the extension kit to plonk in the middle, is that this is one half. You then build the other half like a mirror replica of this, and then you stick them together using the nuts and the screws and the bolts through these on the little bits at the end, if that makes sense for you. Also, I am very glad that I followed the instruction of doing a sort of dry assembly first, because had I tried gluing all of this together right off the bat, there would have been some swearing and probably a ruined kit. Trickier than it looks, folks. Adult Lego. Lego was always trickier than it looked. Believe me. Trust me. There you go, have a look at that! How cool is that? I've got a set of baseboards, there they are, but very usefully, you can just bodge apart like that. And in that middle bit there, and you can just see on the camera, there's two little holes for D's nuts right here, and a little bigger hole in the middle, which is for when you run your cables through for your wiring, for when you're wiring your layout up. And then what you do is you use these spacer parts here, and you know, D's nuts and stuff, and that's how you bolt the two boards together. I think that's very cool. What I think we're going to do now is basically everything I've just shown you, but I'm not going to show you it again, but this time with actual glue involved. So, put it all together, giving it a few hours to dry fairly solidly in place, and here it is. It looks really nice. Lovely and smooth, beautifully cut and put together. It all fitted together perfectly. I didn't even need to do the thing that they said in the instructions, which was if some of the parts don't fit together quite smoothly, just give them a little tap with a mallet or something. Didn't even need to do that. Fits perfectly all the way through. Now, what we have to do, this is a decent length in itself, but I got the extension board to go in the middle bit here. So, what we now have to do, there's the extension part. So we're going to undo the bolts that we just put in, put this in between them, bolt that up, and then we'll have, hopefully, a pretty decent length run to play with. And here it is, folks. This is the whole thing assembled. Yee! Can you tell I'm quite excited? This part here, and this part here, right next to my Class 66, hello there, were the original baseboard kit, and then this bit in the middle is the extension section. So, comes out to about a total of 5.5 foot in length. I've just put some of my trains down on the baseboard just to show you a bit of perspective. In fact, here is a whole train over here. This is 50037 Illustrious with a 3-coach passenger train there. Leviathan's just chilling out behind. And there's the 66 up there. This is kind of getting an idea of what I want to do with this layout, which is going to be what they call a terminus to fiddle yard. So, you know, there'll be a terminus station here, and then up there it'll go into what's called a fiddle yard, which is an off-scene sort of section where you get to fiddle around with what trains run onto the layout. So they'll sort of come in and go out there. It'll either be hidden in a sort of area here on the scene, or there'll be an extension. We'll have to cut a little tunnel hole through there and a little extension piece out that way. I'll see how I feel. I've put some of my trains down just to see what sort of space we've got to work with, really. The 66 is over here, just because, focus, there we go, because I'm thinking of having like a sort of kickback freight yard arrangement up here. So the 66 is over there with one sole wagon there, a little tanker. And then down here will obviously be the station area, as you can see by the fact I've got the coaches set up down here. And the Class 50 is ready to go on a big sort of heckin' adventure. To say that I am very happy with how this turned out would be quite the understatement. I am delighted with how easily these things went together. Now it's time to doodle some track plans. The bit I enjoy the most of building a model railway. Just doodling in notebooks, fancy layouts, which you then put into real life and you realise you have nowhere near enough room to realise these, but it's all part of the fun. Now, where's my notebook? So there you go. Seemingly, I had everything ready to go to start actually putting track down and making my layout. I had the baseboards built and ready to go. I've got the locos, I've got the rolling stock, I've got the track, I've got the tools I need. Everything was there, ready to go. So then what happened? As well as the lockdown and the various stresses and effects on mental health and just real life in general that has entailed, there's been another thing that kind of stalled my progress altogether on it. I started getting ideas in my head about what I really wanted from a layout. I really started to think, man, I'd really like a roundy layout. I'd really want a continuous loop layout that goes around in a sort of oval and goes round to a back scene at the back, then comes round to a scenic section along the front, but trains can just trundle by while I'm, I can just sit back with a cup of tea and watch trains go by, sort of thing. I really got it in my head that that's the layout that I wanted. Under normal circumstances, maybe I would have been able to make a start on building that layout. But, again, we've kind of been in a global lockdown. And specifically in this case, I was actually going to use more of the same baseboard kits that I had already built. But of course, the fact that everyone was in lockdown, the fact that they were not, as able to supply as much stock as possible as they would do under normal circumstances, plus the fact that everyone else had had the same idea and gone, I know, now that I'm on the lockdown, I'm going to finish that model railway that I've been meaning to build for years and years, kind of meant that it was a thing of whenever I check on the website, never available. And that was just the thing. It was just in such high demand of the limited stock that they were able to produce at the time. So then what happened was I kind of started to use that as an excuse not to do anything. I kind of got hung up on this idea of, no, I can just, once I get this baseboard, I'll be able to continue with it. Once I can do this, once I can do that. But unfortunately, the fact that I wasn't able to do this one thing, i.e. get more baseboards to make the entire set that I wanted to, everything else stalled out after that. Everything else kind of spectacularly flamed out. Basically, one day, I was pondering ideas for an alternate, just a baseboard from somewhere that I could use instead of I just used the kit baseboards for something else. I'd keep them for a rainy day or some other project. And I was, believe it or not, looking at old pool tables. And I was looking at some, scrap, pool tables on eBay, things like that. And I happened to mention this to my dad, who I run all my ideas past, of course. He's obviously building his own model railway as well. We kind of bounce ideas off each other. Then a little while later, obviously, he had talked to my mum about this. I started to get messages from my mum, basically along the lines of, you've got some perfectly good baseboards that you've already built. Just do something with them. Make the thing. Make trains happen. And this big fancy plan for the big roundy, do that later. You've put it off long enough. Just do the thing. Deep down, I had to admit that, yeah, she was kind of right. I had been kind of putting off going anywhere with my model railway build. Right now, I have baseboards and I have enough stuff to start building a layout and start making things happen. And I've always really liked the idea of doing a lot with a little. Making a lot happen with not much space. I've always been a big fan of that. So, why don't I put my money where my mouth is? I've got a decent length run of baseboards ready to go. Why don't I see what I can do in that space? And I have been starting to think about track designs. I already have a very good idea of what the track plan will actually look like. It is now a case of sketching it down and kind of finalising it for you, which is what we're going to be doing in the very next episode. And I'm going to aim, I believe my original idea for this series was 1 episode a month. Not one every 4 months, granted, but so I promise the next one will be more prompt, and in the meantime, it's time to do what I said I would do in those clips from back in April. It's time to get my notepad and start doodling some ideas. Tell me about your own model railway exploits, layouts you've built, layouts you are building yourself, layouts you want to build, your experiences in general. Let's just brew up a cup of tea. There's some tea over here. Help yourself. Come sit down, make yourself comfortable, and let's have a chat about toy trains. I mean, railway modelling. Very serious, very serious. I hope you guys are all doing as well as possible. I hope you guys are all staying safe, and I'll see you guys on the other side.